Welcome to the Women Waves podcast. This week we have got Precious Mustapha, Charlii Crockett and Charlie Young with us. So if we just go around and everyone introduces themselves, Precious, if you want to start.
Hi, my name's Precious Mustapha and I'm an actor from East London. Yeah.
And Charlie?
Hi, I'm Charlie and I am a student and a part of the Girls Network.
Oh, amazing. Yay. And Charlie? Charlie Young.
I'm also Charlie. I am CEO and co-founder of the Girls Network, and we are a mentoring charity for 14 to 19-year-old girls from the least advantaged communities across the country, matching them with fabulous women who mentor them for a year. And Charlie's one of our brilliant mentees this year on the programme, so I'm sure she'll tell you some more about her experience. But it's lovely to join you again.
Thank you for joining us. And Charlie, when did you first start with the Girls Network?
I signed up last year in year 10.
And you're really interested in acting and you're interested in fashion. What's kind of like, how have you been helped with the Girls Network? How have they helped you with that?
So my mentor, she has like links with like the fashion industry, and she also she gives me like places I could maybe audition to, or she gives me advice on how to get into schools that do acting, or the other school that I applied for that does fashion, which is the Fashion Retail Academy, and I also applied for Brit School, which is the acting school.
Oh, sick. Presh, you're an actress.
Yes.
How's it been going? What have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been going pretty well. I've been working with another actress. I think her name's called Alicia Appleby.
Don't know her. I'll have to Google her after.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. Our series has just come out, so I'm just kind of enjoying the moment, I guess. But yeah.
What made you first want to become an actress? How did you first start?
So when I was really, really young, I wanted to do fashion design, and that was the route I was going to do, go down, funnily enough. That was the route I was definitely going to go down. And then I think the more I did drama, the more I really enjoyed it, and it got me out of my shell. And I was like, oh, okay, so maybe I'll try pursue both of them. And when it comes to, I don't know, A levels, I'll pick one. But then I didn't pick textiles for GCSE, so I couldn't do it for A level. So I literally had to do drama. So I did that. And then my drama teacher told me about drama schools because I had no idea that you could go to a drama school and do acting and that alone, and it was all practical and stuff. So then I just applied to all of them, and then I got into one, which was great.
Amazing.
I just trained there for 3 years.
Which one did you get into?
I went to East 15.
Okay.
Which is in Debden.
Did you know at the time that it was quite hard to get in, so getting in was such an achievement?
Yeah, I knew it was hard to get into drama schools. So I was I prepared myself for a gap year to have a year out and just do other stuff. But I think maybe that helped because I kind of had in my head that I wasn't going to get into anywhere, so I didn't audition with this I really need to get in. I was actually quite excited to have a gap year, and then managed to get into one, and I was like, okay, cool.
You still need to have that gap year at some point.
Yeah,
I know. Maybe this is it.
This cannot be your gap year.
COVID enforced gap year.
Yeah,
literally.
Not quite what you had in mind, I imagine.
Nope.
So Presh, what advice would you give to Charlie if you were doing it all over again? What advice would you give to Charlie?
What, as in going into drama schools,
acting,
or just going into the acting in general?
Yeah.
I think don't be too hard on yourself. This industry is filled with a lot of rejection, and I think at the beginning for me, I was taking it all really personally. And I was proper is there something wrong with me? What? Why aren't they? I feel like I did a good audition. Why didn't they say yes and all of that stuff? And it really makes you question yourself. But I think the more you realize, like, there are so many other factors that have nothing to do with you, and like you're wonderful, and that there's literally there are so many other factors. It's not you, and as soon as you realize that, you start to have more fun, and you realize like, oh, okay, like auditioning is the job. Like, yeah, auditioning is the job. Once I realized that, it became less stressful, and I felt like I was putting less pressure on myself to book things, because it was almost like, as long as I have an audition and I'm going to an audition, like, and making those connections with people, that's kind of the job.
And how do you like overcome your nerves when you're going into an audition?
I think the more you do it, the less nervous you are, but I get very, very nervous still. There's just so many factors when you go to an audition. Like, you've got to obviously learn the lines. Two, it's like you've also got to build a connection with this casting director that you're meeting. So it's also remembering that as soon as you walk in the room, like, you're being auditioned before you've said the lines of the script. And that for me is really nerve-wracking, because in my head at the beginning especially, I'm like, okay, remember your lines, and then you're having to have a conversation with the casting director, and I'm like, trying to obviously be really like attentive, but in the back of my head I'm like, you need to remember your lines, you need to, do you know what I mean? It's so many different things that used to make me really, really nervous. I think now it's a bit better, but nerves are also sometimes good, because it means that you care, for me anyway.
Yeah.
I was listening somewhere the other day talking about public speaking, but in a similar vein, and the idea that it's a myth that you eventually aren't scared anymore. And I said, for most people, even if you're a seasoned public speaker, every time you're nervous. And so, if you think, oh gosh, I shouldn't be nervous, I'm nervous before speaking, or if I'm nervous before auditioning, that's a bad sign. Like, I think that's, a myth that people think is the case, but really often isn't.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic news. Thank you, Charlie.
You're so welcome. I was thinking too.
That's been weighing on me for a while. I guess it kind of fuels your energy, doesn't it? Like you were saying, Precious, it's like you need that, because it kind of helps push you in the right direction, and like you can use it to your advantage, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Like, when I was in drama school in particular, I used to remember, like, before I'd go on stage to do like shows and stuff, I would be backstage going, why am I doing this? Like, why am I doing this? Why am I in this industry? Questioning my whole entire life before going on stage. And then as soon as I'm on stage, nothing matters anymore. And you're like, okay, this is why you're doing it. The adrenaline just hits you, and you're like, yeah, okay, I get it now. I get it now. But yeah, I think nerves are, everyone's nervous.
For sure.
Everyone.
Okay, we're gonna just create a film together. We want you to create the plot. We want you to create the genre. We want actors, directors. We want to create a movie, and you have all the budget in the world to make it. So who would you have in it? What would it be about?
Kevin Hart is in it.
Okay.
Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Kevin Hart. Love it.
So are we going with a comedy then? If we go with a comedy.
Yeah, let's go with a comedy.
Yeah. Okay. What is it about Kevin Hart that that made you instinctively go, yeah, Kevin Hart's the guy?
Kevin Hart is in is the funniest film ever. It's just the best film. Any film.
Any film.
Any film he's in.
If Kevin Hart's in it, it's a good film.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so it's got to be a comedy then. We got Kevin Hart in there. I'm thinking my favourite comedy actress is Maya Rudolph.
Oh, that's a good pairing.
I think that would be quite jokes.
Yeah.
She is actually hilarious, isn't she? She's just got something
is
to
so
her.
funny.
She doesn't even need to speak, and like she makes you laugh.
Yeah.
She's so good.
She's hilarious.
She has like a little stint in Superstar Never Stop Never Stopping.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, it's actually really funny. She's like trying to sell these people fridges. And it's quite funny. So I feel like if we've got Kevin Hart, we've probably got to have The Rock.
Yes.
Yeah. They work so well together.
Perfect together. Have you seen that? There's a clip on YouTube where they're like doing impressions of each other, and they're just laughing the whole time. It is so funny. It's brilliant.
I've really been like really into Lupin at the moment.
Oh.
So
So
I
good.
could probably imagine Kevin Hart being like a comedic Lupin with The Rock. Maya Rudolph.
I like that idea.
That could be the season 2.
Yeah. With some special guests. Charlie, when you were looking into like being in the fashion industry as well as acting, did you ever think that they could maybe go hand in hand at some point?
Like, do you mean like designing clothes for actors, like on
Yeah,
set?
like costumes, and because then you could work in the same industry and do both of what you love, I guess.
Yeah, that is actually a good idea. But I feel
Yeah.
like with fashion, I wanted to have my own business.
I'm envisioning now, Charlie, you as an actor designing your own red carpet clothing as you go down, and everyone's like, "Who are you wearing?" You'll be like, "I'm wearing myself because as well as being a great actor, I also have my own business making incredible clothing."
I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
Pressure, you should get on that as well.
What designing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's in the
are
future.
so-
I'm gonna do a Rihanna on everyone.
Yeah.
Just ghost and then start creating loads of businesses.
And then all these amazing fashion shows. Have you seen them, Charlie? Have you seen her?
The Fenty.
The
Yeah, I
Fenty
have.
shows.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Mm.
Female empowerment at its best.
So Charlie, with your with the acting that you're into, is it more like theatre or is it more screen acting, or do you kind of both of them, or is there a specific one that you're into?
The final goal is screen acting, as in I want to do movies. But right now, because I'm still in school, we only have the opportunity to do theatre because GCSE's drama is theatre. So
So you're doing
yeah.
like plays and stuff at school.
Yeah, it's like plays like Shakespeare and stuff like that. Just
Nice.
GCSE
That's really
plays,
cool.
really.
Have you got a favourite play at the moment?
I don't like Shakespeare.
No, me neither. You know, there's a play that I've just read called Amelia that's about a young girl who is writing better plays than Shakespeare, but she never gets recognised.
So one of the, and I've forgotten her name, but one of the actors in that who plays Amelia at her sort of eldest age in the show does at the end this incredible monologue about feeling the fire of women inside you and like fighting injustice. Absolutely incredible, kind of goose tingly kind of feeling when you listen to it. And she came to our end of year celebration in 2019, put on the costume and delivered the speech, and it was absolutely phenomenal. A room full of 250 of our girls and ambassadors and some of our mentors. It was absolutely electric. She was fabulous, really good. So hopefully we might be able to persuade her to do that again, because it's a really powerful speech. A little bit sweary, so we did have to do a bit of a warning at the beginning. But you know, sometimes that gives it that real power and energy, doesn't it? There are times when, you know, swearing adds to what you're saying. So I think it was relatively recently written, wasn't it? Because it was only a couple of years ago it was on stage. They did it at the Shakespeare's Globe for a season, and then I think they transferred it to the West End for a bit as well.
Yeah, I saw it at the West End. It was amazing.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
How did you find Precious transitioning from doing like more theatre, because obviously at drama school I guess a lot of that was plays, and then to doing more screen acting? How did you find the transition? Like, would you say it's a completely different style of acting?
Yeah, I feel like I didn't find it too difficult. I'd done like screen classes before I went to drama school, like part-time screen classes. So I kind of knew like a bit about screen, and then when I went to drama school it was mainly theatre, which I think is also really helpful, because theatre, even though it's like a different medium, ultimately it is kind of similar to screen in terms of like intention, I guess. I think the only thing that makes screen and theatre different is screen is a lot like smaller, so the camera picks up absolutely everything, whereas on stage you have to really express everything for people to be able to like see it and pick that up. But yeah, I think I didn't find it too difficult.
What struggles have you faced then during getting into the industry?
I think at the beginning, I think after leaving drama school, that's probably when it was the hardest. I'd say my first year out was the hardest because you kind of have this, you leave drama school, you've graduated, and you're just like, yeah, got to book a job now. That's it,
Mm-hmm.
gonna book that job. And I think it's really difficult when you're on social media a lot and you're seeing people doing like, well, everyone only shows when they're doing well on social media. So you're seeing everyone do really, really well, and you feel like you're still in the same place and you're not doing anything. Um, so I'd say I struggled with that. I struggled with like also not being consumed by acting. When I left drama school, I was like, I just have to continue thinking it's acting 24/7. Like that's it, you know. And in reality, what informs your acting is living. So you actually have to be really present in your life in order to play characters and play nuanced characters um, that you've come across in your life. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And so it wasn't until I like started working jobs that that had nothing to do with acting, that like part-time work that I genuinely really, really enjoyed and was actively listening, watching people, meeting new people. That's when, and that's when I started booking more jobs because I was not consumed by acting being the be all and end all of my life. Like it's literally a job.
Yeah, that's really good advice because I think so many, like, a lot of young actors are kind of made to believe that, if you're not 100% all the time acting, then you're not passionate about it. But actually, it's important to find the balance and switch that off. And essentially, that makes you a better actor, like you're saying. And I think you end up getting more work by not being constantly,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like obsessing over it.
I think that's often true in life, isn't it? If you get too fixated on one thing, sometimes you sort of self-sabotage a bit. Whereas actually, if you are less focused on always the end goal, but more the process and enjoying what you're doing along the way and trying to sort of be good at the bits you're doing as you're doing it, rather than worrying so much about whether you're going to ever get there or not, that can be a real challenge. And it's much better just to enjoy it and do it because you love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Charlie, how did you decide that acting and fashion was your passion?
Okay, so I I can draw. That was my first thing that I knew for certain. I am a very good drawer, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with that, but I knew that that's what I was good at. So something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
So from then I started drawing a lot, but I focused drawing people, and then I started drawing dresses and hair and stuff, and then I really liked just creating things. So I came to a point where I just drew dresses, and along the same lines of creating things, I used to create my own creams, everything. I used to just do it all by myself.
Your own creams?
Yeah, I used to just like make my own creams, my own perfumes, my own everything.
That's amazing.
Myself. Yeah, so I knew I wanted to do something along the line of creating something. So then I think it was in like year 6, we had the end of year production. It was Cinderella, and I had never ever been a part of a production, but this one was compulsory, so you have to do it.
Right.
So I decided if I'm going to be a part of a production, I'm going to be the best character there. So I decided to be the uppy sister because Cinderella was singing too much and I can't sing. So I went to be the ugly sister because you can still sing, but you don't have to sing nicely.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I'd be the ugly sister, and then I actually really enjoyed it. Yeah, there was a set script, but I worked outside the script because I really enjoyed it, and I decided that I'm going to make the character
Amazing.
my own. Yeah, and then from then I liked acting. And in secondary school, I did it. It was a compulsory class. Girls do drama and dance, and boys just do extra PE. So then, when it came to choosing in GCSEs, it was either textiles or drama, and I definitely knew I wanted to do drama. Yeah, and then I started drama GCSEs.
Amazing.
Who would you say is your favourite actress at the moment? Who's like your role model that you look up to?
I think more, again, I like Kevin Hart a lot. I like people like that. I think, like, with shows, like reality shows or like just Netflix series, I love Vampire Diaries so much.
Me too.
I love it. I would sit there and watch it over and over again, but I needed it because I sound a bit sad. So I asked my mum to watch it with me. She said no because she's Catholic. So but yeah, I could watch that so many times, and like the originals and all of that. And yeah, and like Pretty Little Liars and Gossip Girl, like I like that. That's what I like.
Yeah. I need to get into these shows. I get really nervous about how much you have to watch, so I'm like,
I was the same.
I don't know.
The Crown I hadn't watched, and then season 4 came out, and I was like, okay, I mean, everyone's going on about it, it sounds amazing. So I eventually started back at season 1 because everybody also said, you've got to start at season 1, you can't start at 4. But it's a lot to catch up on. That's a real commitment, that.
Have you got through it all now?
Yeah.
I'm partway through 3. I've got slightly sidelined
Oh, wow,
on occasions
come a
by
long
other
way.
shows, so, you know, it's sort of been rumbling along in the background. Most recently, How to Get Away with Murder, I've got hooked into.
Yeah.
So good.
I've just started watching High Fidelity with Zoe Kravitz.
I've seen some of it with Zoe
Oh my
Kravitz,
god,
yeah.
so good. So good.
Is it good?
Have you ever seen Love Life with Anna Kendrick?
That is amazing. That's really
That's
good,
on
I think.
iPlayer. It's
No.
so good. You will love it. You really should watch it. It's so good. It's on iPlayer. Not a lot of people have heard about it. It just kind of popped up. And it's quite similar to High Fidelity, like the same kind of concept of like love and talking about dating and stuff. It's so good. But yeah, Zoe Kravitz is just...
What I loved about Love Life as well was how it looked at love in lots of different ways. So it wasn't just this one prescriptive way of love. So be it romantic or, you know, friendship or family, but it was looking at love in different ways and relationships in different ways. I thought that was really powerful.
They did another program like that on Amazon Prime where it was like different actors in each episode.
Oh, Modern Love.
Modern Love. Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I've heard about
That's
it.
good.
I heard it's good.
It's really good.
I feel like it's got to the point now where it's like it used to be like embarrassing to say, oh no, I haven't seen it, but there's just so much that everyone needs to see that it's normal now to be like, no, I haven't seen it yet, but I need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you know, some of the Golden Globes I wouldn't go out of my way to watch, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
The ones that are...
Yeah. I mean, what is that about?
What is that about?
Honestly, like, the amount of times on this podcast as well, this is the 4th episode, and I swear, every single episode, I May Destroy You has come up just because it's so good. And, like, the fact that it hasn't been nominated is just, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I was speaking to someone the other day and they were like, I'm pretty sure that Michaela Cole couldn't give a flying...
No.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't
if
care.
she got one or not. No. But it's just a shame that maybe some people haven't seen it because it's such an important thing to watch.
She did a great interview with Louis Theroux on his Grounded podcast as well, talking about that and talking about sort of her own life and how it was mirrored in that. Really fascinating. I loved having watched the series and then hearing her talk about it. Really brought it to life a lot more.
Precious, who would you say is your favourite actress or actor or someone that you look up to?
I feel like at the moment, currently, Regina King
Yes.
Yeah.
is like really like inspiring me at the moment. Her and Issa Rae.
Oh, Issa Rae.
I just love Issa Rae. But yeah, I think those two. I think for me now, I'm at a place where it's kind of I'm like having to ask myself. I think because of the whole Michaela Cole Golden Globes malarkey, I've actually got to a point where I'm asking myself, like, who is this all for then? Like, who are we actually? What is the work that we create and that we put our all in to do? Like, who are we doing it for? And I think now I'm starting to realize that you just got to do it for yourself, because I don't think Michaela Cole cares. However, I do think it makes people who felt seen watching that go, well, right, if I put my blood, sweat and tears into a project, am I going to get no recognition for it? Probably.
But I guess in some ways she did get recognition because so many people had been like, this is a travesty.
Yeah.
So
no, that 100%. That's that. Yeah.
But she got recognition in the.
But now she's got recognition for being controversial when it shouldn't be the case. Like, it shouldn't be. We shouldn't be having this conversation. Like, it shouldn't be an uproar for it to be seen as something of, I don't know. I just think for someone to put all their trauma into their work and to not be recognized for that, or and to actually change, like, it was a cultural reset what she wrote. Like, everyone was talking about it, everyone. So yeah, I think I'm just like reevaluating why I'm doing this and like who I'm doing it for, and
it says a lot about the actual awards that are right at the top as well, because it's kind of like, why is it this one award show or these couple of huge award shows that are what everyone like aspires to aim towards, when actually the stuff that they're doing, or they're not necessarily inclusive. Why do they have all that power, and why it's almost, hopefully people will stop kind of, I don't know, like realizing that,
putting
like
so much into
doing it for yourself rather than doing it for that. Because there's so many series and films out there that won't have even been considered for an award, that are so much more powerful than anything that they kind of often choose.
It's just so bizarre to me that like a group of people decide what's good or not. Like, for me, that's so bizarre, when really the people you should be asking are us. Like, you should be asking your everyday person on the street. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why is it that this group of people, they're like, they really know
we need to
is the best on TV right now. They know.
We need these people to show themselves. Who are you?
We need them to show themselves.
Show us your credentials, please.
We need to start replacing them, right? Let's get some Girls Network girls to do the judging panel instead.
They'd probably have a way better.
Oh yeah, Charlie, that's your new project. You can head up the new judging panel.
I think I should do that.
How do we advance female empowerment in the industry?
$1 million question.
$1 million question.
It's an important question though, right? Like, it's frightening that these are conversations we've been having for a long time, and the same problems rear their heads year on year on year. And, yes, there is some progress, but it's slow. And generally there seems to be consensus that things need to change and we need more diversity, but that's not leading to the outcomes we want. So there's got to be more that we can do.
Yeah. I mean, Charlie, you're making an amazing impact by doing the Girls Network. I think that's a really incredible thing that you're doing, and just keep having conversations. I think it's just important to continuously talk about these things and shed light on these amazing things that people are creating.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I think we talk a lot about it. They're complex problems, right? So there's no one solution. You need to have multiple solutions working together simultaneously. So, for example, role modelling is really important. Being able to see people you can relate to doing the things that you want to do really matters. So we need to keep profiling a diversity of actors, directors, writers, producers, because that really matters, and giving them a platform. so that the next generation can see them. But then equally, having the aspiration and wanting to do it's one thing, but then it's, well, do you have access to the opportunities? Are there barriers, be they financial or otherwise, that stop you getting into that industry and getting to that position? And then on the journey, do you have the people around you that can support and advise you effectively? Because in most contexts, there is a kind of a hidden language, a hidden knowledge about how you need to behave to get ahead. And that for those that grow up in the right circumstances or know the right people, they'll be taught them as you go along. But actually, if you're not taught the rules of the game, it's really, really hard to play it. So be that, how to conduct yourself at a dinner and how to use cutlery, through to, how do you go into an audition? What are those relationships you need to build with the people interviewing you? And actually, the fact that you're being interviewed at an audition from the very beginning is probably something that often people aren't told, and you learn by doing. But if you don't know that, you're at a disadvantage already. So I think there are lots of things like that. That's about how do we enable people to understand what the rules are, so we've got a more level playing field and we have more equity.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess that's true for like any industry, really. Is like there's always that kind of certain unspoken about behaviour that you're meant to be, and people don't know that they're meant to be that way if no one tells them. And it's kind of like, I think it happens a lot in offices as well, where juniors like might come from underprivileged backgrounds or don't have those kind of networks that a lot of people do have, and they have to kind of learn their ways of being themselves. So if there's someone there to kind of be a role model or to tell them, by the way, if you go into this meeting, this person is kind of like this, so just make sure or just these little secret things that people tend to know but they don't really share.
Definitely. And then it's also about the people in power, the people that do have those positions of power and influence, really listening to people that are coming up, listening and being willing to change the way they do things, being willing to change their ideas, being willing to challenge the way they view things. I know people talk about unconscious bias a lot, but it's a real problem. And, understanding your bias is a good starting point, but you then have to continually work at it. And you have to be thinking, well, what opinions and what views am I not hearing? And what might I be missing? Where are my blind spots? I have all this power. How can I distribute this power more fairly so other people have power and influence as well? Because there's always that dynamic, right? If you're at the top, you have a lot more power than you realise. And it's therefore your responsibility, I think, to share that out.
It's true. Is there any of you guys that feel like you had a role model on TV or through film when you grew up?
That's challenging. I can't think much about when I was younger, except maybe Blue Peter. I quite like the Blue Peter.
Yeah.
I thought they were pretty cool. And they did great adventurous things, the women and the men on presenting. So that was probably it. And then when I got a bit older, a fair bit older,
and you got your Blue Peter badge.
And I did. Do you know what? When I was 5, I drew a picture of what I thought I'd look like at 25, and I drew myself as a teacher, which it turns out I was at 25. And I got published in a book, and I got a Blue Peter badge.
That is the best achievement you can get as a child.
Yes.
Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you.
Have you still got the picture?
I'm pretty sure my mum has somewhere. It's the kind of thing that parents don't throw away, right?
Yeah. What about you girls?
I don't think I had one specific person. I just know that Disney Channel was my way through
Disney
life.
Channel taught me so much about how romance should be, and it taught me that singing whilst dancing down the street is the right way to live.
Yes, absolutely.
Actually, I'll probably say That's So Raven. I'm going to go with That's So Raven.
Oh.
That was my, she, we watched her all the time.
That's on the Disney Plus channel now, I think.
I know. I've been rinsing that.
Love it.
You're also a big Cheetah Girls fan, I know.
I am. I am indeed. Know all the songs.
I mean, I think it's the costumes as well. They really...
Iconic.
Iconic. Charlie?
Yeah, I stayed on Disney Channel as well. And I used to love Jessie and stuff like that. Like, I did love That's So Raven as well. And what else did I used to watch? I don't know. I used to be either Disney Channel or like I used to watch stuff like Lazy Town.
Oh, I loved Lazy
Things like
Town.
that. Lazy Town. I wanted to be Stephanie's. I thought I was Stephanie. I was Stephanie, personally. I didn't know who I was Stephanie. I used to wake up every morning and say, Mum, I need to go, I'm Stephanie. Like, I actually thought I was her.
Please
like,
tell me you had the wig.
I did.
Fantastic news.
I did. I can't even do backflips and stuff, but I used to go downstairs thinking I could do it, break my leg or something, come back. I used to
It's important to believe.
Yeah, I tried to make my brother Stephanie once. Yeah, like I put wig on him, everything. He didn't like it, but yeah, I love Stephanie.
Is that how the styling came about?
I used to mess up a lot of dolls' hairs and stuff, so I think that's where it all came from.
Precious, have you got any really funny audition stories?
I know my first one ever was the worst one I've ever had in my entire life. Because I completely blanked.
Oh no.
And then I kept so I remember it was no, it wasn't my first one. So I was like a few auditions in, and this one was like for an untitled, like it wasn't titled, but my agent was like, that means it's probably something really big, so just go in and kill it. I was like, yeah, gonna kill it, gonna smash it. Wasn't a lot of lines to learn either, might I add. And normally in auditions, you just assume that you're just going to be talking straight into the camera. You'll probably be sat down, speaking straight into the camera. So I was like, okay, this should be a breeze. It's only like 4 lines. And then when I got into the room, there was tape marked out on the floor for marks, meaning that I was going to be moving about in this audition. So I was already thrown because I'd never been into an audition room like that before, ever. And so he told me, like, okay, so when you say this line, I want you to move over there. And then you're going to get up on that line, and then like giving me all this direction. But I'd not planned that in my head. I wasn't prepared like that in my head. So I'm like looking at him, not even really listening to what he's saying because I'm panicking. And so we do like the first take, and it all just goes completely wrong. And at this point, I've now forgotten my lines, and I'm getting incredibly hot and flustered. And there's 2 of them in the room, by the way. One guy's like holding the camera, and the other guy's the casting director, so he's like watching and stuff. I was getting so flustered, I had to stop at one point, and I was like, I need to take my jumper off. I just need to take my jumper off. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. Would you like some water? But when you can tell that they're looking at you like, is she all right? I was like, I'll have some water. And I was just all over the place. And then I kept apologizing, and I was like, I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. He was like, yeah, stop apologizing. It's fine. I kept apologizing for apologizing. He was like, no, seriously, like, stop apologizing. It's fine. So that was probably the worst audition of my life. I remember leaving feeling feeling like this is not for me.
It's crazy what our bodies do when we're so nervous.
Honestly, panic mode.
How we forget things as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think memory just goes, isn't it? I auditioned for a choir once, and it was a fairly easy audition, and then they asked me just to sing any song at the end, and my mind immediately went blank of all songs I knew. The only song I could remember was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, so I sang that in an audition.
No.
I mean, they let me into the choir.
Fantastic. You obviously did like a fantastic version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's my party piece.
Yeah. So I think, Precious, what we've learned from auditioning is stop saying sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't apologize.
Yeah. It's hard though, isn't it? You're taking up their time.
There are like so many little rules. Like, apparently one is like you shouldn't go into the audition room with like your bags and your coat and stuff. You should always leave it outside the room. It's really bizarre. There are small things that I'm like, you should never go in and say, oh, sorry, I'm late. Just don't bring attention to the fact if you were ever late. Just don't mention it.
Right.
Do you know what though? All these little rules, do you think that casting directors like really even notice these things?
No, surely not. Like, surely it's about the performance, no? If they do really well, like, you forget all of that.
You'd hope so. You'd also think it varies person to person, right? Because some people, I think, if you're late, apologising does bring attention to it, and people would like the confidence of just walking in. But for other people, they might be sitting there thinking, you're 5 minutes late and you've not even apologised. That's kind of rude.
Yeah.
Right? So
naturally, I think I'd always say sorry.
Yeah, me too.
It's so funny. I had one once it was a shampoo advert, I think. It was years ago.
I love this story.
And I did the audition. I didn't have to speak at all, so I just had to like pretend to wash my hair and then like, you know, no speaking. And then it all went really well. And then just at the end, I was like literally ready to leave. She was like, "Oh, actually, can you just look into the camera and just say any word?" And it's obviously because they wanted to just do like a test of hearing my voice because I hadn't spoken yet. And in my head, when she said say any word, I thought she meant like make up a word. For some weird reason, I thought she was testing to see how creative I was or whatever. So instead of just saying like toast or sausages or whatever she wanted me to hear my voice, I literally just made up a word, and it was like Sims language. I was like akadushia or something, like literally just made it up. And then the worst thing was she asked me, she was like, "Oh, what does that mean?" And as soon as she said that, that's when I knew that it was like completely wide done. And I just had to be honest, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know, I just made it up." And she was like, "Okay, thanks for coming in." It was the worst. It was the worst. But why do we do these weird things when we're so nervous?
that's amazing.
I didn't get the job, just to clear that up.
I bet they're kicking themselves now.
Definitely.
Well, at least they know for next time that they should make a Sims advert instead.
Exactly.
Like a Sims.
If it was Sims, I would have got the role.
Oh, that's so good. I think the most scary audition I had, it wasn't scary, it was my most embarrassing, was when I went up for sex education. And I think I've told this story to multiple people. And I went in and I'd prepared like a song and a performance, and I was like, I'm gonna nail it. And I went in to be a part of the a cappella group, and I went and they said, "Okay, so like, have you got a song ready?" I was like, "Yes, I'm ready." And they went, "Because we've got a list of songs you can use." And I was like, "No, I've got this. I've also done a performance, so would you mind if I performed it and did like the moves and everything?" She's like, "Sure, go for it. Why not?" And I did Toto Africa, and I was like bouncing in this video, and like moving my hands like this to the audience that wasn't there. It was great. It was great, but that is very embarrassing, and that is somewhere. So
that footage exists somewhere.
That footage exists somewhere. It's like something that they bring up on what's it called, the Graham Norton show.
Yeah, watch out for that.
So, question for you all: as a woman, what message do you want to give out to other females? What is it you feel they should know?
I feel like for females, I would say like you alone are good enough, because I feel like a lot of females feel like they should rely on men, and that's not the case. Because like society builds up the idea that man and female are like they are dependent on each other, but I don't feel like that's true. I feel like a woman should understand that they are the person. I mean, men are dependent on women. We're not dependent on men. We don't need them. We are good enough on our own.
I second it.
I'd say take up space. Like, I think as women, we always tend to be sometimes we tend to be on the back foot. I'm not speaking for all women. I'll speak for myself. I tend to be on like the back foot a lot of the time, and always kind of apologize for just existing, when really you have a right to be here. You have a right to take up space. You are powerful, and you should own that. And there is so much like power in owning oneself. I think that if more women, if we did that, like we're an unstoppable force. Like women are
Yes.
unstoppable. Like it's just
Mm.
mad.
So true. I'm reading a wonderful book at the moment, I might have mentioned before, called Women Who Run with the Wolves, and it's all about uncovering that sort of passionate bit of you as well. So as women, we often, it sort of builds on your point, Precious, we often sort of mute bits of ourselves, and we try and be the polite, amenable person that the world seems to want us to be, and that passion and that drive and that fierceness gets lost because sometimes it's seen as sometimes seen as being ugly or more confrontational or not the thing that people want. But I think it's such an important part of us. And I think building on your point about knowing who you are, understanding that, taking up space and being all of you is really important.
Yeah.
100%. Precious, what practical advice would you give to someone that's starting out?
I'd say it starts from like educating yourself, because I think we also forget that it's a privilege to even be like, right now drama schools are still charging people to audition for drama schools. Not everyone has
Yes.
access to that.
Ridiculous.
Like it's so mad. It's
and it's
so mad.
expensive. It's like 50
It's so
quid, no?
expensive.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But it's just so it becomes like an exclusive type of atmosphere that just doesn't need to be there. But anyways, I think it all starts with like reading like plays and stuff. Like read plays, theatre again, see theatre if you can. Again, that's another thing that's quite exclusive and not very accessible and very expensive. So not a lot of people have access to that. So I'd say read plays, because you can always go to like secondhand bookshops, get plays and stuff. What else? Watch films. Like watch your favorite films. Study your favorite films. Like why are they your favorite films? Watch bad films as well. Watch films that you haven't liked and ask yourself, why didn't I like that? Why didn't I believe that performance? Yeah, I'd say start off with like reading and like watching things, because it's a lot easier to access. In terms of like what did I do? I think it's never you should always try and reach out to people. I remember when I was in drama school, I started emailing like not random. I started emailing I was like, you know what? I'm just going to email celebs that I actually genuinely admire. So actors I really admire, and ask them to mentor me and see what happens. And like I did get responses from people. A lot of them were like, "Oh yeah, our client is super busy at the moment." But I got a response. But I feel like, why not? Why not do that? Or ask for advice. There are loads of part-time schools at the moment that are relatively affordable. There's workshops. I go to a workshop called Go Hub workshop, which is a really nice space and safe space for young actors who, actually not even young actors, any actor who wants to like, who's just started, who's just got into the industry or isn't in the industry and I don't know, decided yesterday that they want to be an actor. It's a hub of just all these different, I don't know, levels of actors. And it's just a safe space to like explore the work. Yeah, I think there are loads of avenues now because we have social media, which I didn't really have back then, like that. But now it's like there are loads of places where people are, making it affordable for people to, or free for people to enter the industry. There's another one, Open Door, which is an initiative, I think, and it helps like people from lower income families like get into the industry, and they like pay for you to audition for drama schools and stuff, and they're doing really, really well. So yeah. And yeah, I think create your own work as well. Just pick up a camera and just like film your friend or film yourself. Do like film a monologue and like put it online.
Yeah, I used to do that.
Like it's a nice way to just let it out.
Yeah, I got my agent from filming a monologue in front of my cupboard, and that was the only footage I had. And then I sent it off and I was like, I am the person that you want to rep. And he was like,
Yeah.
sure, let's have a meeting. And then
Love it.
he was my agent. So
Yeah.
It just shows that like you can do things yourself and you can make things happen for yourself.
yeah, I feel like that's a very important thing to know. Like, you have the power to create. Don't put your destiny in someone else's hands, because it's probably not a path you want to go down.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Charlie, what would you say to someone who is looking at joining the Girls Network? What advice would you give to anyone who's looking to maybe join as a mentee?
I'd say stay open-minded and take every opportunity that you are given, because they give you a lot of opportunities. And even if you maybe like don't exactly know where that opportunity is going to lead, still take it. Like, why not?
Yeah.
And what would you say is the best thing you've got out of it?
You know that like they're gonna help you.
Yeah.
And, like, you can go to them for any problem, and you know what you want to do. They help the path be clearer. Like, they help you get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming on today and for chatting to us and sharing your amazing stories. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you all.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day, ladies.
Brilliant.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thanks, guys.
Have a lovely
Thanks so
weekend.
much.
Bye.
Thank you.